Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Chidinma Igbinejian. If this is your first time on the channel, please do not be a stranger. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so that you can be notified anytime I post a new video. And to my returning subscribers, thank you for sticking with me even though my posting has been very epileptic, but you have stuck with me through this journey. Thank you very much. I do not take it for granted. This video is going to be quite a vulnerable video. It's going to be like a summary of my year 2024, the highs and the lows, the things that have gone well and the things that haven't gone well. To the best of my ability, I will try to do like a very good summary of what has happened with me this year. And if this is something that you'd be interested in watching, please stay to the end of the video. Welcome back. So I'll do a quick recap or summary. I'll tell you who I am, especially for those who are watching my video for the first time. So in 2022, August, was it August or was it July? I think it was August. So my husband and I left Nigeria and relocated to the UK. We came here on a study visa and I did a 1 year course. So my first degree is in accounting and my second degree is in management and international business. I did that for 1 year and graduated in December 2023. And before I graduated, I already got a job with the NHS and I've been on that job till now. That's basically a summary of how I got here and what I've been doing here. And I think previously I've done a video of the jobs that I've done before I started working in my current role. So I've worked as a call center agent, I've worked as a support worker. That didn't last for more than a month because I really struggled with the job. What else have I done? I've worked as a business support officer. I know I've done some other crazy odd jobs. I've worked as a teaching assistant too. So you can imagine in a space of 1 year, did all those jobs. Anyways, some of them worked out really well, others didn't. And yeah, I've been working in this current role as a medical secretary with the NHS for a little over a year now, and I can say that that's going really well. Um, yeah, that's basically my life in a nutshell. What has been happening with me since we moved to the UK. I'll say that my 2024 has been an eventful year. So in 2024, my family suffered a great loss. Great losses actually. The first loss occurred in 2023, and the second one occurred late 2024. So October 31st, 2023, I was at home like any other normal day. I was having my dinner, and then I saw a message pop up on our family's WhatsApp group. So my dad, mom, my sister, and brother have a WhatsApp group, and then that message popped up. And you know when a message pops up on your phone and you're like, "Oh, I'll check it later." It's probably one of those group chats. But something else was like, "Just check it." And then I picked up my phone and I read it. It was a message from my dad saying that my grandmother had died and that she died in her sleep. I went blank. I went blank because I could not explain the emotions that were running through me. I don't know if it was shock or if it was disbelief. It just, it was just something that I couldn't explain. But yeah, that happened. Of course, I lost my appetite for the food I was eating, dropped my phone, and started staring into the blank space. Like it was just a rush of emotions. She died in her sleep. Was she sick? Did something happen? Did she have a heart attack? What happened? How does a perfectly healthy person just die in her sleep? And then only for me to hear that a few days before, because she stayed with my uncle in Port Harcourt before she died. Only for us to hear that she was saying it a few days before she died that she just wanted to have a very peaceful death. She didn't want to be sick or bedridden or have people have to carry her around, not be able to move around by herself, use the bathroom, and just basically do things for herself the way she was used to. And it was almost like a wish come through for her, true for her, because She just went to bed and never woke up. So that was what happened, and my grandmother died. My grandmother, my dad's mom, was the only surviving grandparent that me and my siblings had for a very long time before she passed away in 2023. We never met any of our grandfathers. They both died before we were born. My grandmother from my mom's side died in 1998. So that was a long time ago. So we were not old enough to have like a very solid relationship with her or understand her personality before she died. So I would say that I did not really know my maternal grandmother that well before she died. But for my dad's mom, she lived with us at different times in our lives, especially when we were very little. So she would stay with us, and because of her, we learned how to speak Igbo very well. And it was not just speaking the general Central Igbo. We learned how to speak Arochukwu Igbo because that's where we're from. My grandmother didn't speak English, and because she didn't speak English, we just had to find a way to communicate with her, and that's why we were able to speak Arochukwu Igbo very fluently. And it's just weird and sad to know that I can't pick up my phone to call my grandmother. I can't play with her, talk to her, and make jokes with her anymore because she's gone. Sometimes I just still feel like she's somewhere around, like maybe still in the village or in my uncle's house, and then I have to remind myself that okay, she's actually gone. I can never hear her voice again. My grandmother's death took a toll on the family. My uncles, my auntie, her only daughter, we all broke down. My mom, grandchildren, great grandchildren. It hit us really, really, really bad. And it was just coming to terms with the fact that she's actually gone, like referring to her in the past tense. I mean, we've suffered grief, we've suffered loss in the past, but that was the first loss in a very long time that has hit very close to home the way it did. She lived a long life. She was in her 90s when she died. I'm not sure that we could tell accurately how old she was, but a rough estimate of her age would be around 92, 93. I would say that while she was alive, she was very strong. She was the type of person that would be very neat. She'd sweep. She never had like idle moments. She always wanted to be doing something. She was always busy. If she's not sweeping, she's cooking, she's doing something. She was also a very neat person. She would ensure that her house was very clean. And she's also the type of person that when she wants you to do something, she'll keep reminding you until you do it. So if you know that you want to have peace of mind, just do it and get it out of the way so that mama can leave you alone. But yeah, that's about my grandmother. So she died in October 2023 and she was buried in February 2024. And a couple of months later, in June, we lost my uncle, my grandma's first child, first son. And that was another shocking loss. Because once again, you know, when you think that the people that you've always known since you were small, since you were growing up, you just have that feeling that they will always be around no matter what. You don't realize that time is passing, they're growing older, probably getting weaker, and then there's just life and different circumstances that could cause such occurrences. And I don't want to go into much details about how my uncle died, but we lost him. So in the space of 8 months, we buried two very close family members, which is very sad. And I'd say that we were dealt several blows in 2024 as a family, having to bury two family members very dear to our hearts. That happened, and we had to take it in and swallow it in because we have the hope of the resurrection. So we're hanging in there while we're consoling each other because we know that these things happen and we need to stay strong. So that was like the worst part of my 2024. Those were the things that happened in 2024 that shook me to my core. Me and my family, my cousins, aunties, uncles, we were we went through it. And it's more difficult when you're abroad and things like this are happening in your home country. There's not much you can say, there's not much you can do. You can only act or behave based on the information that you've been given from those who are where the issues are happening. I mean, if we could feel it so bad from here, I can only imagine how bad it would have been for the people in Nigeria who had to deal with the whole process, the burial, my cousins who lost their dad, my uncles and auntie that lost their mom. It was a tough time for us, and that happened, but we're thankful to Jehovah that we are still standing strong as a family, and we pray that nothing like that happens to us again. Whew. That really felt tough and heavy, and since this event happened, this is the first time I'm actually sitting down in front of a camera to talk about it. It's just always been hanging there in my mind, but finally found the courage to speak about it. There were some other good parts of 2024. I had a couple of friends, cousins, relatives who got married. That's some good news. So yes, it wasn't all bad in 2024. So 2024 was not all bad. Working as a medical secretary in the NHS, I learned a lot of things. So like I said, I've worked here for like a year now, a little over a year. And I'll tell you that within the space of 1 year, what I have learned in the NHS, I don't think I can compare it to what I have learned elsewhere. Yes, there are the positives and there are the negatives and all of that, but now I choose to dwell on the positives. I've learned so much, and it came to a point where I thought that I was ready for a change. I was ready to move higher in the scale of my job. I was ready for more challenges, more experiences, and I started applying for jobs in higher roles similar to my current role, but just something a bit higher, something a little bit different from what I currently do. Um, I attended lots and lots and lots and lots of interviews to the point that my friends were like, Jess, you're always having interviews. You have an interview every single month of the year. Tell me, how are you doing this? How are you landing these interviews? And I said to them, it's not landing interviews, there's a problem. It's getting the job, there's the problem. Scaling the interviews and ensuring that the members of the panel will not be biased and actually select you or hire you for the job if you are deserving of it. So, like I said, I attended lots of interviews. They will come back to say, oh, you were unsuccessful for this reason and that reason. You know how you would attend some interviews and you know within yourself, like, this one, I didn't do too well, so I don't think I should be expecting positive feedback. And when they came back to say, oh, you were unsuccessful, and then they provided some feedback, I was just like, okay, yes, I can tell that, yeah, I needed to put in extra effort in that interview, and that's why I wasn't successful. But there were a couple of them that were just ridiculous, because especially for jobs that I really know that I can excel in them, when I'm invited for interviews, I take my time, I research, I prepare like I'm preparing for a professional qualification exam, and I make myself very ready such that there's almost nothing you would ask me that I won't be able to answer or explain to you properly with examples. So I had this interview, and then when the hiring manager got back to me to say, oh, this was unsuccessful, in my mind I was like, yeah, one of those things. I'm not surprised. You guys always find a reason to disqualify someone. So give me feedback. Oh, it would help if you had a CMI level 5, and maybe that would have made you qualify for the job. So it was nothing about what you said in the interview. It's nothing about something wrong in your application. It's just the fact that we would expect you to have this qualification, the CMI level 5, for you to have scaled through this interview. And I said, lady, if you had read through my application properly, you would have seen that I have a CMI level 7. So what exactly are you asking for? Do you want me to downgrade and go back to a level 5 so that you can give me the job? And she's like, oh, really? Okay. I think we also have some more feedback for you. Maybe we can call you on Monday by 12 o'clock and give you that feedback. At that point, it dawned on me that they were just looking for an excuse to disqualify me because they probably already had their candidate, or they had some other reasons why they didn't select me for the job, but they couldn't say it verbally or in paper or on paper why they didn't select me for the job. I said, yes, I'm open to feedback. I want to hear the feedback. I want to know why I wasn't successful so that it would prepare me for the next interview that I would attend. And they said, okay, so come Monday, 12 o'clock. I sat down in front of my computer waiting for a Microsoft Teams invite to the feedback session. That never happened till today. I emailed to ask, where's my feedback? Nothing till now. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Then most recently, I attended another interview, and of course, it was one of those interviews where you prepare, just to ensure that you've done your due diligence and that if anything goes wrong, it won't be from your side. I'm talking about myself. So yeah. So I went for that interview. Every question that I was asked, I answered with valid examples to explain and buttress my points. I would say I did everything that was expected of me and beyond. And one thing I do when I attend interviews, I always do is I always have questions. I have like 5 to 6 questions for them after the interview. So whenever they say, do you have any questions for me? I usually feel like when they say, do you have any questions for me? That they may have made the biggest mistakes of their lives because I have lots of questions, but I try to like narrow them down to like 5 or 6 questions, sometimes 3 or 4 questions, just to know the kind of team I'll be getting into if I get the job. So this interview happened. They asked me questions. They were really friendly, as always, plastic smiles. Um, I answered the questions to the best of my ability. No lies here and there, but I was very honest about my experience and everything. Give examples, and you're like, oh, that's really nice. We've had a very very good chat with you. Do you have any questions for us? Yes, I threw my 5 or 6 questions, and then they answered satisfactorily. And I said, okay, that's fine. So they said we would get back to you. We aim to get back to you before the end of today to give you feedback on the outcome of your interview. I said thank you, and I walked away not expecting much because, as usual, like the many other interviews I've attended, they either come back to you to say you're unsuccessful, but we had a really nice chat. We thought you did really well, but because of this singular thing, this is why you were unsuccessful. So yeah, I was waiting, and I think about 5 o'clock, the hiring manager called me to say, "Oh, I just want to let you know that we had a really nice chat with you. It was a very good one. Unfortunately, you were unsuccessful." Okay, so nothing new. Why was I unsuccessful? I was calm, unusually calm, because I wasn't expecting any good news. I was just very calm because at other times when I had put in my best for the interviews, that I had my hopes high, expecting positive news, and then they shattered my hopes. I'd end up feeling very bad. But this time around, I was like, nothing new. Let's do this. Why was I unsuccessful? And do you have any feedback for me? And he goes, to be honest, I have no feedback for you because you did nothing wrong. Everything you did was just what we want. Everything you said was just what we needed to hear. And if you were left to me, I would hire you. Those were his words. So what's the problem? What exactly did I do wrong? The only reason that we hired the person we hired is because she was already in the team within that same role. So it only made sense that we would pick her for the job. Okay, so you called me and made me do an interview, wasted my time, even when you already had your own candidate there. You just needed to waste my time and the time of other people that took out the time to prepare for this interview and attend, because you have to statutorily conduct an interview. So it doesn't matter how good or how well I performed, or the other people, the other candidates, it doesn't matter how well they did. You already had your candidate and you were just doing the interview as a tick box exercise, so that in the end you can go back and pick your person who is sitting down somewhere just waiting for you to put the crown on her head and tell her, oh, it's not your job. I'm going to end this video by saying that most times when you're going for interviews here and there, especially for interviews within the NHS, and you keep trying your best and you tick all the boxes, do everything right, and you don't get the job, it's not because you don't know what you're doing. It's not because there's anything wrong with your skills or anything you said that went wrong. It may be, but most times when you're very sure, you're convinced that you did all you should have done and you still don't get the job, it is because they already have their candidates. I'll say that again. It is because they already have their candidates, and that is just a tick box exercise because they are legally supposed to do that, even if they already have someone within. So I told myself I would give myself a break from applying for jobs, because this has happened to me one too many times and my heart can't take it anymore. So I am putting a pause on job applications and I'll just stay where I am for now. Yes, as much as I want career advancement, I want career growth and everything, but I think I'll just stay where I am for now and just re-strategize. So that's my 2024 in a nutshell. Yeah, so some things went well, some things didn't go well. Went to Scotland earlier this year on vacation and it was very interesting. It was 7 days of fun and I hope to do many more fun things in the year 2025. And yeah, that's it. I've been tilting towards TikTok for a while now. I've been doing some short clips on TikTok once in a while, some short form content here on YouTube. I don't know, there's just something wrong with me and not being consistent. I have promised you guys like a million times that I'll be consistent, but that's just not working. So I'm not making any promises anymore. When you see me, you see me. I shouldn't be saying that, but yeah, I'm tired of making promises that I won't fulfill. So let's just take me when you see me. That's basically what I'm saying. And I'm not being rude about it. I'm just begging you guys to take me when you see me. If you have enjoyed watching this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Dimma Vlogs. Like the video, click on the subscription button so that whenever I post a new video or short form content, you guys will be the first to see my videos. Follow me on TikTok. I will put my TikTok handle on the screen. Don't follow me on Twitter. There's just lots of dragging going on there, so I'm not doing Twitter. So follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, where I post more content. TikTok, yeah. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.